Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Just had a few things we wanted to update the community on. First, I want to thank everybody for your support. This process has been quite an experience for us. We've gone from concept to we're just about to a production release, and we thank you guys for sticking with us and going through the process. A couple of things we want to go over. Just wanted to give everybody kind of a view into how this thing's going to roll out. I've got a few points and updates that we want to go through. After that, we have some user submitted questions that I want to address. And then after that, we'll have a general AMA where you guys can ask, pretty much anything within reason. And we'll try to address all those questions. So first I want to talk a little bit about the development process and, where we are in the timelines, what we've been working on, and, the future of what Latium is going to be. And, when it comes to development, if you're not a developer, you might think that it's a process of where you lay out an idea and it's very clear what those timelines look like. Facts are, the roadmap that we created here was created in August of 2017. There is quite a lot of functionality that we laid out. Some of the functionality that we've built was not originally conceptualized either. That's kind of how development goes. As you progress, you see things that you maybe didn't think about or that would be of benefit to the project. So you change focus and you say, this has got value, so we're going to focus on that. With that being said, the timelines, basing something a year out is always difficult to do. And most development projects typically run late. We've really worked hard, and everybody on the team has always put 110% effort into making sure that we meet every timeline that we've set out. And to date, we've done that. So as of now, we're scheduled for a release for mobile at the end of this month. This is going to be the first time that we're going to miss that timeline. There is absolutely nothing we can do to bring these projects to life within the next 3 days. We're very close, and Android will be released in July, but we feel like it's better to hold back and make sure that the product that we're releasing is the best product it can be, instead of just pushing something out the door. Some of the reasons that we're pushing back is because we've added a lot of additional feature sets over the last several months to the platform in general. We've also been ahead on our timelines with things like currency integration. When we originally put mobile development together, the timelines, those concepts were something that would come after in a patch. But now that we have them in the application itself, and we have the ability to hold multiple currencies, multiple wallets, transfers, all these things that we added in additionally, it's pushed back mobile development a little bit more than we'd like. So we're looking at about 30 days by the end of July. Beta testing will become available. In fact, there's a link right now in the Telegram group, so you guys can start signing up to be a beta tester. We anticipate that opening up the middle of July, and it'll be specifically to Android, but the beta test sign up is for Android and iOS. iOS will release a little bit after Android. We kind of focused on Android a little bit heavier just because most crypto users are using Android, or should I say a greater percentage of crypto users are Android users. So that's where we put our focus. And that's just me being honest. That's where we are. That's the bad news, I guess you could say, depending on how you look at it. To me, being a month out on a year out development to begin with is really exceptional. But not everybody's going to agree with me on that, So that's where we are with the mobile development. That being said, I wanted to address some of the things that we are doing outside of mobile, some of which you guys have seen. Like I said, we're ahead on currency integrations. We've added exchange features. Those are going to continue to be updated as we go forward. But the thing I'm the most excited about, I talked about this a little bit in last month's AMA, and that's Proof of Human. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what that is. I talked about it very generally last time, but now I'm going to give you a little bit more granular detail. I'm going to start off with saying that Proof of Human is going to be released by the end of next week. Okay, that's a hard timeline, and it's something that the whole team is very excited about, and it totally changes the dynamic of what Latium is and what Latium can be. And let me explain a little bit about what that process is and why it makes such a big difference to the platform. Proof of human is the idea of validation of a digital user. This is a big issue in the digital space. And the reason is because when you want to promote something, when you want to back something financially, you immediately open up the doors for spam and fraud in any digital system. And the reason is because any user can create multiple accounts. And there's really nothing you can technically do in the current environment to stop that. And that's a big problem. You see it on Twitter, you see it on Facebook. You know, if you go to Fiverr, there's guys promoting, I'll get you, 500 likes, or I'll get you 500 followers for X amount of money. Well, the way they go about doing this is because they have a whole bunch of fake accounts. And although that doesn't seem like a big issue on the surface, the issues that stem from that is it limits how you can develop digital concepts. Because if I can't validate that a person is real, then I can't incentivize somebody. Because what I'm doing really when I incentivize somebody is I'm incentivizing fraud. Because one user is going to create 1,000 users, 10,000 users, and there's no way to capture, or should I say, to limit that loss for a particular user. So what proof of human is it's a very simple 1-minute process. Okay, and again, this will be released by the end of next week. We're taking a person's face. You're following a video. You're going to follow a trainer. He's going to move his head around and go through different head motions. And through that process, we are creating a digital fingerprint based on your face using biometrical data. That data is not being going outside of the system. We're not sending your pictures outside. The whole point of this is to say, I am a real person. We're not saying who you are. We don't really care who you are. It's not about KYC. It is about validating you are a real person and limiting that person to one verified account. Now, you might be asking, why would this be relevant in a tasking platform? Well, I'll tell you directly the main motive in doing this. As a lot of you guys already know, we have a pretty good app incentive budget set aside, and we have spent none of that. Okay, and the reason we haven't spent it is because, again, this fraud issue. If we go out and we incentivize people to register, what we're going to get is a whole bunch of fraudulent accounts. But with proof of human, that changes the game, because we can actually pay for registration and we can pay for referral of registration. Instead of a typical affiliate system where someone has to make a purchase, obviously that fights fraud on its face. But with this, there's no action being taken other than registration. And so with proof of human, we will be rolling out a massive push for registration, the incentives for the affiliates, and to go through the verification process will exist. And we're talking about a 5-minute process. Someone can come in and they're going to get paid 10 LATX. And not only are they going to get paid 10 LATX for doing it, but their referral is going to get 10 LATX for referring them. So where we've had a referral system for the last 30 days and it's been utilized and people are getting a percentage of fees on tasks, this creates a whole nother layer of earning revenue within the system. Even if you don't participate in the tasking platform, you can just refer people and you can make a steady stream of LATX. So we're really excited about the impact that that's going to have on the system. We're really excited about the impact that's going to have on user registrations. We have a good bit of experience dealing with affiliate systems. And just so you guys know, about 50% of everyone in our system that participated in the token sale was linked to an affiliate. So affiliate systems are a very, very strong form of marketing. And the conversion rates that an affiliate is going to get with proof of human are going to be substantially higher than what they could get anywhere else, because there's no purchase required. It's literally a 5-minute process, and now you're getting credit. And the person that you're referring is being paid, you're being paid. It's a win-win situation. We expect conversion numbers to be much higher than pretty much any system that's out there because of it. So I guess this is the master plan that we've kind of been holding back on from a marketing standpoint. And you guys might not see the value of this, but I can guarantee you over the next 30 to 60 days, you will see the value of Proof of Human and the affiliate system and the amount of users that we're bringing into the system because of it. And I would hope that everybody who's listening would participate and go out and refer friends. I mean, there's no downside. It's a great way to get someone who's not in the crypto space into the crypto space easily. Within a few minutes, now they're a crypto hold, right? So that's where we are with Proof of Human. Another announcement is the ERC20 support within the exchange. ERC20 is something that we've been working on, and functionally, it's complete. We're in the process of testing it now. We anticipate release of that very soon. The first token that we will be adding into the system is OMG, and we will be adding more tokens as we go. It took a little longer than we'd like to develop, and I'll explain one of the reasons why. We built a system that requires no development for additional tokens. So it took us a little longer on the initial development, but the rate that we can roll out new token support, it's literally an administration task now. So although it took us a few more weeks to get the implementation, the ability to roll out tokens instead of having to go in and actually write hard code to add a token, we can do it through our administration panel, and that token can go live immediately. So that's something we're very excited about. We're planning to continue to roll out new tokens over the next few months, and hopefully you guys will see the benefits of that. With the token rollout, it won't just be exchange. You'll be able to transfer within the system with those tokens as well. So there's a decent amount of value in there in taking something that has a fee in the transfer and making that feeless in real time. So any token we support, you can send to any other user within the Latium system, and you can do so feeless and in real time. One of the other big features that we're excited about is the idea of holding rewards. I guess it was a few weeks ago or maybe even a month ago, we talked about, potential airdrops, and we were just asking for feedback from the community around these concepts. And what we got back from the community was the idea of a reward for holding tokens. And, we kind of looked through the ideas of airdrops and how they function and how they impacted the market. And ultimately, we've ruled that the idea of an airdrop by itself ultimately does not seem to hold value long term. But the concept of rewarding holders does have a lot of value. And so we're going to be rolling out a system that will allow you to hold tokens, right, within the platform. And for that, you're going to get a reward. It's going to be a percentage of the tokens that you hold, or a tenth of a coin is the maximum return on that. So if you put in 1,000 LATX and you hold them for a year, you're going to get 1,100 LATX back. We're going to have 30-day, 90-day, 6-month, and 12-month terms. They're all going to have different reward levels in which you're paid. You also have no penalty for withdrawing, but you just don't get your reward. So you can put your LATX into one of these holding wallets, and if you decide you need it tomorrow, there's no downside to you. So we're excited about that. And to my knowledge, I don't know of anyone else who's implemented a system like this. We're still working through the legal ramifications of it, but as it stands today, we feel like there's not going to be any problems with the system that we're building. We anticipate that will be released in July as well. Some of the other things I wanted to go over, we wanted to kind of update the community on registrations. I mean, those of you who are active users within the community, you might have noticed that the activity levels are growing. There's more tasks coming online. There's probably more applications. If you're an employer, you're seeing more applications come in. Well, the reason for that is that we're starting to gain traction on user registrations. The month of June, and we're not done with the month of June yet, but month over month, we're up 113% on registrations. We're not at the end of June, so obviously that number is going to be higher. We anticipate it to land somewhere between 130 and 150% month over month growth. And although the community is still relatively small, that to us is less relevant than seeing month over month growth, because what that means is that we're getting market penetration and we're gaining traction. And as that continues, it's just a matter of time till we hit a mass scale, right? And we think that the Proof of Human concept with the referral system is a big catalyst for driving that user base forward. But we're not limiting ourselves to that. Of course, we've talked about marketing. We're going to be rolling out a considerable amount of marketing, and we have been marketing some, but the majority of the growth we've seen has been organic. One of the big things that we're going to be doing when it comes to marketing is we're starting to visit events. Those of you who follow the project, you might notice that Latium has never been at a conference. And the reason that we've never been at a conference is we didn't want to go and talk just about the possibility of what we could do. We wanted to back that up with what we have done and then give a picture into what we will do. And we're at a place now where we're confident in what we've built. We feel like what we've built and the amount of time that we've built it is substantial. And I don't want to toot our own horn or anything, but I feel like, as far as blockchain projects go, we have been exceeding just about every timeline that we've laid out. We feel like every release, every patch, the platform looks better, functions better, and we plan to continue on that path. Our development model is one of, we add new features, we get them out there, and we improve them over time. And those of you who have followed the platform development from the alpha into the second patch release of beta, you guys, hopefully you can see the progression. We don't anticipate that progression will stop. We're going to continue to improve. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to make things look better, function better, and we want your feedback in that process. So, if there's things that you feel like are issues or things we could do better, that's why we have suggestions and bug reports within the system. So you can let us know about that, and we'll certainly review them. One other big feature that we've talked about is the idea of fiat integration. And in fact, it's one of the only missing components outside of mobile on our roadmap. We'll get into the roadmap in a minute. But fiat integration is a big part of the platform. And one of the reasons is that, we don't want to only speak to the crypto community. Our goal is crypto adoption. And you can't really get crypto adoption without having a way for everyday people to get into the system. So fiat integration is a paramount importance to us here at Latium. And we're in talks right now with providers around fiat. We don't have a set date, but we feel very, very certain that the timelines that we have on a roadmap for fiat integration will be met. And I think that we're going to integrate at a level that's better than what we originally anticipated. I don't think it's just going to be the ability to exchange to fiat, but I think there's going to be some additional feature sets that come with that. So you guys might have heard that, we're participating on two first events in July, Dubai and Singapore. When we go to Dubai and Singapore, we're going to be talking about where we are in the project, but we're not going to be just talking about where we are in the project. We're going to be unveiling a roadmap version 2. In that roadmap, there's going to be a full feature set that we haven't really exposed to the community. And the reason that we're doing it this way is that we wanted to show that we have the ability to complete something that we set out to work on. And I think that we're at a place now where most of the items on the roadmap are met, and the ones that aren't will be met very soon. So we want to show you guys that is not all Latium is planned to be. There's a bigger picture here. It's somewhat grandiose in a way, but we're rolling it out one step at a time because we believe that, tasking is something everyone can do, but there's a lot more features that we want to offer for people. We want to create a value and a reason to be involved in crypto because we think crypto is revolutionary and the potential is unlimited. So when we unveil that at our first show in Singapore, we hope that you guys are tune in to the live streams during that time when I'm on stage. Both events will be getting stage time, so we're not just going to have a booth. We're going to be presenting, and this is intentional because we want to present where we are taking Latium in the future. You guys might have questions around exchanges. I'm sure that everyone wants to know when the next exchange is. All I can tell you is that we're continuing to work on this. We're actually in talks right now with a couple of larger exchanges. I cannot release the exact information, as you guys are well aware. But once those come to fruition, obviously we'll make you aware of it. It's not something that we're not focusing on. But it's not our only focus. Okay. Other projects, they might put 100% of their effort on exchanges. You know, you guys have been with Latium for a long time. You realize that there's a bigger picture here, and it's not just about hype. It's about building something that matters. It's about building a user base. And of course, having exchanges is part of that because people need access. But it's not the only thing that we're targeting. It's not our only goal, right? It's part of the process. And we believe as we build out this project, as we continue to add feature sets, as we grow user base, that more and more third parties will wake up to what we're doing, and the exposure will matter. So that is pretty much all the announcements that I wanted to make at this time. So I'm going to go over some of the user submitted questions, and then we can just have a general AMA. So actually, before we do that, I did want to address just a little. I just wanted to touch a little bit on our roadmap, so people know, you know, what we've said we would do versus what we have done. You know, we had alpha release. It was released on time. We had a beta release. It was released on time. Mobile release, I've addressed. We were running a little bit behind, but they will be available, and I think they'll be a better product for it. On the fly conversion, that was something that wasn't even scheduled till Q3. It's already done. You already have an exchange. Multiple currency support, again, Q3. It's already done. And again, I'm not trying to brag. I just want to give perspective that as you're going through the development process, sometimes your priorities shift. And when you add feature sets, sometimes, you know, it pushes other things back, you know. But we felt like these things were a priority. And the reason we felt like they're a priority is because in marketing to the masses, we need to have the ability for people to get into the system. And if we only support LatX in the system to begin with, there's a big hurdle there to get involved. So us allowing for Ethereum deposits, allowing for Bitcoin deposits, and allowing for OMG deposits in the very near future, this helps broaden the scope of participation. So now I'm going to go ahead and go through some of the questions. Excuse me. Okay. So the first question I've got here is essentially around, this is from Kevin D, and this question is around the idea of sponsored tasks from larger marketing firms, say, you know, Pepsi or, you know, or a movie or whatever it might be. Yes, Kevin, this is something we thought about. It's a matter of scale and timing, right? So again, we've addressed the user base right now. It's still relatively small. We've got a plan to grow that, and that's going to change a lot, I feel like, in the next 30 to 60 days with the rollout of Proof of Human and referrals. But there's not a lot of point in developing the sponsored tasks today because we just don't have the user base to justify it. Of course, there is value there. And again, it's just a matter of timing. So the answer is yes, but not at this moment. You also asked, Kevin D, you also asked about the idea of rewards for early adopters. I think I've kind of addressed that with our reward system that we'll be implementing. Hopefully that addresses your question there. Honestly, I think it's going to be a much better system for everybody involved. And I think that it's going to be kind of cool. Hopefully it'll put LatX in a position to where people are looking at us not just as a tasking platform, but also a store of value. That's our hope. I got another question here from Elysium Fire, asking what I'm most excited about. Well, I mean, I'm excited about quite a few things, but I think the biggest thing I'm excited about is to get Proof of Human out, because it's just holding so many other things back. And because without it, we go out and market, we go out and start incentivizing, all we're going to get is a bunch of fake stuff. And we know that. So the release of Proof of Human is just such a game changer. And the reason it's a game changer is because there's just nothing like this. You know, people say, well, you know, I get text message and that's how I verify, and I get do this or I do that. None of those systems are fraud proof. In fact, every one of them is very easy to beat with even a mildly skilled coder. So Proof of Human changes that totally. And I'm extremely excited about that. I'm also very excited about our new roadmap and these upcoming conferences. I mean, those those are something that I mean, I just can't wait to get up on stage and talk about what Latium is going to be, 6 months and a year from now. I think that I don't know that anybody in the community really sees where we're taking this, and I'm excited to get that message out because I think it's going to change what Latium is to the crypto community. Because right now we're a tasking platform, because that's what they see, and that's what we are today. But what we're building is a foundational layer that can be built upon. Google at one point in time was a search engine. That's all it was. Now, if you say the word Google, well, it means a lot more than just a search engine. And we want to follow that path with Latium. So we have another question here from Tether. Do you plan on adding the Tether trading pair? Yes, Tether is something we're planning to add. Or should I say, we were going to add a USD equivalent in the exchange. We're still monitoring Tether. The reason we haven't done it to date is because we want to focus on ERC20 because it supports so many more tokens than working on a very specific blockchain. But Tether or USD equivalent is something that's going to be in the works. I can't give you an exact time, but it is the next blockchain that we're going to focus on will be a USD equivalent within the exchange. Let's see, Murph MCK. Are there any upcoming plans to improve the platform exchange? Current market price averages. Yes, we know that the exchange as it stands is a very basic system, but we want to release that to the market as is. Again, the product right now is a beta, okay? But we understand the markets pretty well. I mean, my background being in FX, and I think that our plans for the exchange long term are going to exceed people's expectations. But it's not something that's going to be built in a day. But there will be improvements. There will be consistent improvements. There will be consistent additional assets being added into that platform over time. Magic Trader, do you have any planned coin burn? We have done we did a coin burn on our bounty fund. The remainder that we didn't use from our bounty has already been burned. You can see it on Etherscan. We do not have any planned token burns because as it stands today, there aren't tokens to burn. We have the adoption incentive platform, and that those funds set aside. If we don't utilize those, of course, anything we don't utilize will be burned, but this is not something that's going to happen tomorrow. As it stands right now, our circulating supply, I think, is somewhere around 83 million. And I think that that's an acceptable circulating supply for today. I don't see any real benefit in cutting that supply or the market cap down at this time. Let's see, we've got one other question. Plans to build partnerships with other companies, maybe crypto related or not. Again, this is definitely a focus point for us. But our approach on this is somewhat different than other crypto companies. And I want to shed a little light on why that's different. A lot of companies release partnerships in the space. A lot of those partnerships are purely a PR move and around hype. We don't subscribe to that. I'm not saying all are. I'm saying a lot are. We don't subscribe to that system. Our belief system is a little bit different. And if we release a partnership, we want there to be real usability and real meat behind that. Those of you who have followed us, you probably know that, we're not out here just to hype things that don't exist. Not saying we don't want hype, not saying we won't get a buzz around the things that we're creating, but there's got to be something real there. It can't be, oh, we're partnering with IBM, even though that's a total lie, right? And that's what you see in the space a lot of times. So we want to come to you with real partnerships. Part of that is having a real community and a real product, right? So it's not a matter of if we're going to do it, it's a matter of time. We're still in a beta, right? Partnering with a beta product is something any large company would be foolish to do, in my opinion. And I think you'd be really hard pressed to get a real partnership with a beta product. If you're an established company, you want risk mitigation. You don't want to bring on partners that don't have a production environment that's well tested. So that's just me being honest, but we will get there. It's just, it's not something that you can do effectively, accurately, and with integrity in a week. And anybody that says that they are, I would argue they're lying. That is all the questions that we have from the community that were submitted that we're addressing right now. If we're going to open it up and just have a general AMA here for the next 5-10 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, please type them in and we'll try to address them. Do we have any goal numbers for users for the app? Goals, I would say, with Proof of Human, and I'm being conservative because I always try to be conservative. I think that a conservative number is us registering roughly 3,000 to 5,000 users within the first 30 days of rolling out Proof of Human. Based on the numbers that we're doing, I think we're going to nail that. We could very well double or triple those numbers pretty easily. But the thing about growing a user base is it's a bit of a snowball effect. As users come in, they experience the environment, they tell other people. And so when you're registering, say, 50 users a day today, next week you're registering 60, 70, 80, and then eventually hit some point where it just starts exploding. And that's a matter of hitting critical mass. And our goal is creating an environment to push towards that critical mass. And I think that we have that. We have that launch pad ready. And I think that whole process is going to start with release of Proof of Human. Let's see. What else do we have here? What requirements from an ERC20 token? Well, we're going to vet the tokens that we have, pretty heavily. We want to make sure that there's value there to our community. We don't want to be we don't want to be like some of these exchanges, where there's 700 tokens that are listed, 90% of which have no value to anyone. So I guess what I'm saying is we're going to vet we're going to be strict on what we allow into the system. We don't have like a set criteria that I'm going to sit here and tell you what it is. All I can tell you is that we're going to look at the legal ramifications for the token. We're going to look at the community. We're going to look at the tech, right? We have no interest in just supporting hype-based tokens, and we know that a lot in the space are nothing but that. So, but that being said, we're not closed off to the idea of adding anything. So if you have a token in mind, you can submit that as a suggestion. We're definitely open to receiving that and reviewing it. Let's see. Why do you only chat when you're on the task? To fight spam. If I give you access to contact me, right? And I've been on freelancing applications since they pretty much existed. The first thing that's going to happen is hire me, hire me, hire me. I don't want that. That's why. So it's a matter of fighting spam and protecting employers from getting bombarded. You've applied. If they want to talk to you, that is their option. And I think that's the right way to approach it. Do we have any other questions? Let's see. All right, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm happy to answer anything you have. And I know there's a mild delay, so I'll give you just a second to type something in. But if there's nothing else that you guys want to ask, then we'll probably call it a day here. So I'll give you just a few seconds here to ask another question. And if not, we'll move on. That's my favorite question. Bat, Wind Moon, Wind Lambo. Lambo I can answer. I'm sure we'll see plenty of Lambos in Dubai. Not that I plan to be driving any of them. But I'm sure we'll see them. Was that purchased volume? Meaning, did we purchase the volume on HitBTC? No. The volume that on HitBTC is a derivative of the markets. I could be transparent in the fact that we have done some small purchase backs of tokens over the course of the last couple months, and the reason is because we see value in the project. But as far as what's going on in the markets, honestly, we don't really have a control over that, and we know we don't. So we try to focus on the things that we have control over, and that is the development, that is the marketing, that is what we're building, and that is the exposure and footprint that we get. So we were focused on that, and we believe with that, the markets will follow. And only time will tell if that's true. But every example you look at in any other type of business, that is the case. Next exchange platform. Yeah, I can't answer that. Anybody who tells you that we're going on this exchange on this date, they're probably in breach of their non-disclosure agreements. We made a mistake in trusting an exchange early on, and they told us we could release it to our community. We will never do that again. Okay. If we can't control it, we're not going to talk about it to the community. That's just the way it is. So you'll know when it's live. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to show up. Hopefully this has been informative. Hopefully you can see that there's a progression here and that we're consistently working to move forward. I thank you guys for your support, and I thank all the team members, guys. This is not me. It takes a team effort, and everybody that's part of this team works very hard to make this vision a reality. So thanks, guys, and hopefully we'll be able to see some of you guys at the conferences in Singapore and Dubai.